Hey everyone, it's Robin. Here's my nest, and welcome to the Feathered Nest. This is my craft room video. Going to do a tour. I'm not going through all of the drawers and everything because I think that's just unnecessary. But this is what you see as you're walking into my room. This little wire basket right here, the wall hanging. I found it at Tuesday morning here recently, and it's kind of a catch-all right now. I don't have that organized the way that I had in mind when I bought it, so that will change. And then this little makeup bag, luggage bag. I've already altered it once, but I'm getting ready to do it again because it's been that way for several years, and I'll share it with you. And then this bin right here I found on clearance at Hobby Lobby last year for 90% off, and it houses all of my paints. And then that's just my Bible bag and my little apron that I wear sometimes. Sometimes. Sorry, I can't talk today. So I'm just walking in a little bit more to scan around. And I'll just start over here. So I have, on this wall, I have three bookcases, two tall ones and a short one. And up at the top, you'll see things, if you've seen my other craft tour videos, you know that hot air balloon metal thing houses all of my flower ribbons. And Pam, who's Grammy 2 Bay, sent that to me. I won one of her giveaways. And then this is just some of my mini albums that I've made. Sue, who's Crafty Artist Sue, sent me that little card right there recently. And the teddy bear up there was one that it's a mama bear and baby bear, but you can't see the baby bear because of the card. But they're kissing each other. They have magnets in their lips, and my son gave me that. Susie, my best friend Susie, made and gave me that top box, and it houses all of her cards and postcards that she sent me over the years. And then the one below it has cards from you guys in it, as well as the little square one. I'm going to try to come down a little bit. It's hurting my arm. The next shelf, I found those baskets at a thrift store somewhere and just washed the fabric linings and have been using them ever since. They just house different things, as well as the photo boxes. The brown basket in the middle, that's something new that my son and his girlfriend had put together a Mother's Day basket for me and had all kinds of sweet things in it, and so I'm using it in here. These plastic drawers, I've had those forever. I just changed the paper on them to where they would go with my colors now. And then the next row is just 12 by 12 papers there, and then on the bottom, that box houses my K & Company embellishments, as well as the one above it houses them. Then this is my little Michaels Rascog that I use for my, that thing, my die cutting machine. And my Thinlits dies are in that binder right there. And I'll show you another time where I house all of my Biggs dies, because that certainly isn't all of them. And then this has my embossing folders in it. And then that I need to hang. I just haven't gotten to it yet. It's going to go right there. It's a shadow box that I found at Hobby Lobby this year on clearance, and I can just change out the paper whenever I like. And I bought a couple more of them down here as well. That bag is what my giveaway things are in. Just put them in there. Okay, so I'm going to back up a little bit. I'm not going to open that closet because I don't want to scare you guys to death. But we took the closet doors off and are using... Ooh, and I need to fluff up my thing. I'm just now noticing that it's all wonky. But we took the closet doors off and hung these to where I could have better access to everything and not be limited. And I'll show you what we did with one set of them because they were louvered bifold doors that were on there. And so I'm going to walk real slowly back over here to where I can kind of scan back. There's my TV. These lights are original to the house, so they've been in here since the very early 70s, late 60s. And I was going to take them down and paint them and redo them, but when I took them down and washed the globes, all of the coloring that was on the inside of the globes just fell off. So I got some Edison bulbs and put in them, and just using them like that. The lighting's not well in this room at all, but that's okay. I'm figuring out ways to fix that. There's my Gemini, and of course the cable box, and just some little tchotchkes and all. And then I've had these bins here for a long time as well. They used to sit on my craft desk at the lake. I just changed the papers on those, as well as these down here. And then that's more 12 by 12 paper on the bottom of that shelf. Here's my brass cog from IKEA, and I keep projects that I'm in the process of working on right now there. And then on the bottom is for journaling. I'm trying to move as slowly as possible. Just my tool cart. This is my desk. I've gotten rid of a whole bunch of the Michaels cubes because they were falling apart. So I only kept the ones that were the best. And that's my table. Then let's see. Let's just go over here to move my... Okay, so over here, this little tower came from Tuesday Morning, and I found it on clearance. There was a dent in the back of it, but what does it matter? And it houses all of those things right there. They are projects that I've started and never finished, so I need to get in there and do that. And then there's inspiration books, and then there's some of my patterns. When I make a mini album, I try to write down the measurements of what I'm doing, but usually only I'm the only one that can understand them. The next shelf then, of course, is my sticker makers and my Scotch laminator. And then the next shelf is some beads for jewelry making, as well as down here, and some of my paintbrushes. So in this little picnic basket here, that houses all of my, well, not all of it, but the majority of my Prima things. Yes, there's my hoard vault. All that area right there, actually. Because behind there is collections like Graphic 45, Bo Bunny, Maggie Holmes. I think there's some Echo Park. But things that I have, like lots of ephemera that go with them, that's where those collections go. That's my heavyweight cardstock, some 8x8 pads, and then I'll walk up here to where you can see my 6x6 paper pads are in there. And then on up, these little magazine holders are just paper, and they came from Dollar Tree. So I just covered the fronts of them and then added the We Were Memory Keepers label tags. That's why I was needing those for that. And then I also put them over here too to put some gold on these. They already had a place for, you know, your notes, but I wanted some brass, gold, whatever you want to call it there. This is stencils and things for my mixed media when I play in that. Most of those are empty. I think I have some of my molds. Golly, guys, I can't even talk. In that bottom box right here. And I have no idea what's in the rest of it. I forget. That's why I need to go back and label everything. And then on the next shelf, I have washi tape and some finished cards. Those are finished cards and some wooden stamps. And then these two binders, they house my... I used to make primitive crafts, and so I made a lot of my patterns myself, so a lot of those are in there. A lot of paper crafting patterns are in there. I bought some from following the paper trail years and years and years ago, so those are in there, but it's mostly primitive craft patterns, and mostly mine, or pictures of things that I've done. And then the top shelf up here, these are journals and some books that reminds me of ones, they were once that I read as a kid, but those I found at an antique store and I picked them up. And then that's just a box of ribbon, and this is just a little thing that I altered several years ago that you can see if you go back when I first started doing YouTube videos. And then up the top up there, that just houses random things, CDs that have pictures on them, and just different stuff. And then the teddy bear is one that my husband gave me our first Valentine's Day. So I'm going to come down and try to do it slowly. And I'll show you. I'll come around this way then and show you. This is where I sit a lot of times when I'm talking to you and all you see is my hands. That's where I did the video yesterday or day before yesterday of what Sue sent me for my birthday. And then I have yet another journal on here. That's a little block that my son had in the Mother's Day basket. And then that shelf over there is one that I'm going to hang in here somewhere that Susie made for me. That's a daily devotional that my sweet daughter gave me. And I think she gave me that for Christmas, so I'll leave that sitting there. And so there's my sit-up. My friend Sonia made me this little trash bag and drink holder, and I think I'm going to maybe change the fabric up in it because it's dirty and I need to fix it. She made that for me several years ago. Let's see, I'm trying to move there's just here, that's a little sewing box that has thread and needles and stuff in it. There's punches down here in this basket. This is my tool drawer for small tools. Glues and things are down there. Then okay, and then here those two drawers are punches. These two are, that's glues and just general things. In that one, punches, cutter, a couple of different cutters, more punches. So I'm going to cover you up now and turn you around to where you can see the back desk. Okay, here we are. So you can see my paper sewing machine there with, those are all my ribbons, different colored rolls of ribbon. And that lamp was my grandfather's. And if you've ever read my blog, you can read the story on that. Just another tool caddy and just some tchotchkes, my little mink. I've been doing videos back here because I find that the lighting is better. Stamps and those 4 drawers, that's office supplies, billing stuff. And then in these 2 things right here, I did have 4 of these in my floor. They're from the wedding, and I'm wanting to use this stuff in wedding albums. And then up, that little container was sitting on my grandmother's old vintage sewing machine, and it served as our guest sign-in table. So I just kept that. And then that's a painting that I did last month. My typewriter, book, journal that Crafty Artist Sue made me. Family picture. And then let's see, these are different embellishment drawers. One's for wood, one's for metals, one's for holiday, and then that top drawer, I'm leaving it empty for things that I'm working on right that minute, other than what's on my Raskog, to where I can, if I need to quickly clean up my desk, I can just shove everything in that drawer and voila. This basket down here houses the We Are Memory Keeper tools, along with my cutter for my chipboard that Susie and her husband bought for me. And then underneath there is office supplies, packing supplies, and things like that. And then as we come on up, those 2 drawers there house more stamps. And then there's my alcohol inks. And hang on a minute, let me turn this light out. Let me cover you up for just a second. Let it focus. Okay, so my alcohol inks, my stamp pads and ink pads, Glimmer Mist. I think I've shown you all this before. So these little bins right here, they came from I think it was a 4-drawer shelf that I used to have, and I threw the shelf away and just kept the little drawers because they were still so cute, and they have stamp pads in them, and I forget what's in that back one. And then on up, some of my Stampin' Up! Markers are up. Where am I? Up there in that. You can see them sticking out. And then at the top up here, those 2, the whiskey bottle and the wine bottle, I made those for our wedding, and they sat on top of the bar outside. And then my wedding bouquet that's dried out, I actually made that bouquet. It's the first time I'd ever made one. I wish that I had been able to preserve it better, but I don't know about doing anything like that. So And then this is my ot light that I found it Tuesday morning. Okay, my arm's getting sore. I'm going to cover you up and back up to where you don't get sick. I have to get in the corner back here to where I can kind of show you. Okay. Now, if it'll focus. So along the top up there, those are things that I've either made or friends have made for me or we used in our wedding. The plate that's up here, my best friend Susie made for me, and I love it. I actually used that in our wedding. I'm going to see if I can rest my arm on this chair. I love it. And then there's just random things up there. My nephew, who is a Apache helicopter pilot, and you all have heard me talking about him, he sent me that little thing right there. Let's see. I don't know if it's going to focus or not. There, maybe you can see it better. And then that's a little steamer trunk that I made several years ago, and it houses 3 mini albums and then some miniatures. And that's my son when he was a baby over there on top. Okay, so we're going to come down. These 2 cabinets right here, my husband found them at the Restore here locally. And when we bought them, it's no wonder they were there for a while. They were covered in like an inch of grease. They were the nastiest things I have ever seen in my entire life, and I can't believe that they were in anyone's kitchen and that they lived like that. But so we had to scrub them down, sand them, and kills them, and then put, I think, 2 or 3 coats of paint on them. But they were horrible, but I love them now. And they already had plexiglass in them. That was the cleanest thing about them, was the plexiglass, and it looked like it was new. I was going to replace it with glass, but it's my craft room. If it was in another part of my home, I would put glass in there, but I'm happy with the plexiglass. So these little bins right here came from Five Below, and they house flowers and feathers and miscellaneous and small gift bags and tissue paper. And then my Stampin' Up! Stamps are behind this mini album that I've made. And then these little boxes hold, I have no idea because I changed that up. It used to have my sequins and beads and glitter and stuff like that in them, but they don't anymore, so I don't know. Then there's my alcohol markers and my Faber-Castell markers and a little camera photo album that I made. And then over here we have ribbon, flowers, and a few teeny tiny metal embellishments and book rings. And then there's my Cricut. Yes, it's an old Cricut, but I'm happy with it for what it is. I don't use it much just due to the fact that when I bought that, I didn't think about the cartridges that you have to buy for them. And so I just couldn't see paying that much money for those cartridges. I only have very, very few cartridges, but I refuse to give that up because I use it for letters and stuff. You know, like lettering. Wish I had more cartridges, but oh well. These things right here normally come to my desk when I'm working. They have magnets and just miscellaneous bits and bobs. And then that's for billing. There's my Rolodex and the camera that Susie gave me. This is one that I used to do all my filming with. And then these are Mother's Day cards that my kids gave me Two of them anyway. One of them's in Texas. This is from my son, oldest son, and this is from my daughter. And then that little book's from my son as well. It was part of the package. And then behind there is just a little scrap organizing thing that has pieces of papers that I used from the wedding, making things for the wedding. And then there's my brother's Skin and Cut and a pink pumpkin that I made out of a dryer vent hose last year. I didn't share that with you guys, but so these two drawers have stamps in them, and then those two are for office supplies like hole punchers and my label maker and things like that. And then here in the bottom, well, I will open that up. Hang on just a second. Let me open it, and then I'll come back. Okay, here we go. So I have my 8.5 by 11 colored cardstock here. This is, what is that one? Embellishments in that bin, bling in that bin, and just empty shopping bags that I use for trash there. And then one of these is score tape, one is like journaling cards and chipboard things, and I don't remember what the rest of that is. Oh, and I can't see that far as those are labeled, but I can't remember. So that's how I have those. I'm going to cover you up again. And if you hear my washing machine and dryer in the background, I apologize. I'm opening these other two drawers for you. Okay, so here we go. Okay, this is the bottom of the other one. So here, there's some. When I do something, I'm real bad about, or real good, however you want to look at it, about getting a binder and writing everything down. So when we remodeled the house, I put everything in those binders, and so if I need to refer back to it for a paint color for a certain room, or what kind of hardwood floorings we put down, or things like that, they're all in those binders. And then this basket right here houses my Gorgeous Girl stamps along with this binder, and then butterflies and birds are in that basket because of course they have to have a special house. And then this is more of my patterns from years ago, where they're sewing patterns for primitive crafts. I really should probably go through there and sort through them and maybe even get rid of them all together, but sure enough, if I do, then I'll want to start doing that again. This bin is for packaging, and this one's just miscellaneous, and then my cinch and the wires. So let me cover you up one more time. Close this back up. Okay, so I was going to tell you about what we did with two of the bifold doors that were on the closet. My husband took them apart and made shutters for either side of my window, and I absolutely love that because I am a huge fan of plantation shutters, and if I could afford it, I would have it on every single window. So that's kind of imitation plantation shutters. But this is my little crafty studio nest, rather, and thought that I would share it with you. I hope you enjoyed. Talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching, and welcome to my new subscribers. Bye, guys.